Hello everybody, and today I'm going to be talking about Konekokitten and how he got called out by the Dropblox team, and also a ton of people were calling him out for just being wrong in this entire situation with Dropblox and him. I'm going to be explaining this entire thing for you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, but before I go ahead and start, make sure you guys go ahead and like the video and subscribe, notifications on for more. If you guys like commentaries and gameplays, because I post a couple of gameplays now and then, but mostly commentaries. Also, comment down below, would you play Dropblox or do you think it's going to die whenever it comes out? And of course, why? Now let's go ahead and get to our video. This game is called Dropblox. Now, Dropblox is a quite popular Fall Guys clone. Now, over time, Fall Guys has been dropping in popularity due to Among Us, and of course, due to the game just dying in general because it's getting boring. But quite a while ago, whenever Fall Guys was actually popular, otherwise it was back in August 19th, Dropblox was actually created. Now, whenever this was created, it had a massive amount of hype, and I mean massive, because the first tweet that they even made got almost 4,000 likes, which is quite a large amount when you're thinking about Twitter. Not to mention that a ton of large YouTubers actually commented under it, excited to make a video on it or something, like Creecraft, Sketch, there's a ton of huge YouTubers. So I'm telling you, if this game would have started right whenever they made this tweet, they would have got potentially millions of players, because I know Flamingo would have probably made a video on it, etc., and it would have just been massive, until they actually finished their game, and their game's about to be finished on December 1st. Now, over this time, they posted all types of teasers and stuff that looked absolutely amazing, like astonishing. This looks like a really cool game, but eventually the game slowly declined as they stopped posting stuff, but of course it still stayed pretty high, so it didn't lose all its popularity. Of course, the loss in popularity was also attributed to Fall Guys, the main game that it was popular for, and the only reason it was popular in my opinion, started dying, like really dying. The game went from the top at 200,000 players concurrent to like 20,000. So as you can see, Fall Guys really dipped. This continued to happen, them stopping posting so much that they hadn't posted in September before they posted one more time about a day ago. They also made another game in development, which is probably taking up a lot of their time. In my opinion, they should never did this, but it was called Suspect, and it made players feel like the game Dropblox was just never going to come out. They weren't posting any more updates. They were working on another game that would apparently come out before Dropblox, so the players just had no trust in the game or the developers and thought it was never coming. Of course, it did have like a pre-order thing, and some people pre-ordered it, but in the end, people really lost faith in it. The Twitter account actually started losing followers over time. Check in the social, but you can see even with gaining like a couple new followers, they were still losing over 87 followers per month, which is of course horrible for a Twitter account, because you never want to go into the negatives. Even if you aren't gaining one, at least you're gaining some and you aren't losing any. So the game really started stalling, and all the player base started dying and just like falling out of wanting to actually play the game. But then Konekokitten actually made a video on it, disguised as a downfall, but actually really gave the game more hype, because now everybody knew that the game was coming back and there was actually a release date now. So even though Konekokitten kept on saying throughout the video, hey, this game's gonna die, this game's never gonna be popular unless a miracle happens somehow. Of course, I'll be addressing that later, but for right now, that's basically what Konekokitten was talking about in his video and what the developers did wrong. Now, this actually helped the development team quite a bit, as after Konekokitten's video was posted, they actually gained 82 new followers, which is actually really good considering how they were in the negatives before. Then it could be because of Konekokitten's video, it could already be scheduled. We don't really know. Personally, I do think it was because of Konekokitten's video, but they posted a tweet a day later after he made the video, releasing the date that the game's going to be releasing. And then they gained over 100 new followers. So I feel like Konekokitten really brought more hype to the game and ended up maybe even saving the game in the long term, rather than talking about how it's gonna die. Which is kind of ironic in my opinion, but tell me down below, do you think Konekokitten actually kind of saved the game, or do you think he just talked about how it died and it'll actually die in the end? Now, moving on to our next portion of the video, I want to go on and just address some of the points inside of Konekokitten's video, because after the video was made, one of the Dropblox members of the developer team that made the GUIs actually called them out. Now, this is completely solved, and I actually don't even have any screenshots really from it, but Konekokitten did make an entire video just explaining all of it. Sadly, I don't even have the video because he deleted it, but I can show you like a screenshot of it, and I'm going to just be explaining the entire situation and how one of the members of the developer team called him out. So what first started is inside of Konekokitten's video, he says something about the GUIs. He says they're bad, and that's it. Now here's the clip of it.
I'm telling you, they hyped this up so hard. They had these nice cinematic screenshots, big creative dynamic maps inside of the game and whatnot. The user interface, that's bad.
Now, obviously, the person who created the GUI was really sad about this and was like, I'm a fan. Hey, why'd you say this about my GUI? It just hurt me a lot and wasn't even constructive. All you did was call it bad. And Konekokitten responds just saying that he didn't actually mean it that way, and he actually meant it in a way that he only saw one of the GUIs, and he thought that one could use some work and that it was really hard to see things because it would blend in, and he wasn't actually just trying to call it bad and was actually trying to give constructive criticism. So it was cleared up pretty fast, and don't send hate to anybody in this video, of course, because it was already cleared up, and there's no point of sending hate for no reason to somebody and witch hunting them. So moving on to the next portion of the video, I want to go ahead and just talk about, do I think that the game's going to die in the end, or will it not die in the end? Because throughout Konekokkitten's entire video, he says so many times that, hey, this game is going to die. Personally, I don't think the game's going to die. Of course, it's going to have less players than it would have if they actually released it back in August when they first made their post. But of course, instead of doing that and rushing it and just having like a bare minimum horrible game, like what usually happens when people make copies of games, they actually took their time on it. And maybe in the end, that's going to help them more than if they just rushed it out and got money and then just left after that. But as you can see, they still have some sort of popularity because they got over 2,000 likes, which is like half of what they got before, but it's still quite a bit considering how much time has passed and how Fall Guys has died. And if all 2,000 of those people play the game, then it'll definitely have a lot of players and it won't be completely dead like Konekokitten thinks it will be. Not to mention, Konekokitten actually kind of like saved the game and shouted it out. It got more followers and everything, so that could also help the game in the end. So tell me down below, do you think Konekokitten should have gotten called out for this? Also, do you think the game's gonna die or survive? And do you think the developer team should have rushed it and got it out as fast as possible so they could cash in and then cash out later? Or do you think they made the right choice taking it the slow route and slowly losing popularity from the game, but in the end they had a more original concept and a better quality game? Tell me your opinion down below. Like the video and subscribe for more because I upload gameplays and commentary videos. And goodbye.